This is the Tier 9 Soviet Collector Heavy, the K-91. It is a vehicle that's mainly relevant for its deadly autoloading capabilities, including having bits of armor here and there as well. If we go ahead and take a look at the stats of the vehicle, you can see that the front of its turret is upwards of 258 and the front of its hull is upwards of 121. And this is what the current armor profile looks like. There are a ton of troll spots that occur throughout this vehicle. The full-on turret is not going to be easily overmatched, as it's upwards of 269 to 840 in most cases. It's just a lot of spaced armor, including a lot of wedges that occur throughout the turret that add a bit of thickness to it as well. Upwards of 424 as well, and even 615 of spaced armor. There are two little weak spots that occur on the turret as well that are upwards of 232 to 233, and where if you are fortunate enough to hit those spots, then good for you. Apart from that, they are extremely troll as well, so it's going to be about a 50-50% chance in order to cut right through those spots and that without a hassle as well. We also got the top part of the track reels right here that are upwards of 265 in most cases. And then you even have the majority of the upper and the lower plate that are auto penetrations, upwards of 214 on the upper and 160 on the lower. When this vehicle is using its 7 degrees of gun depression, this is what it looks like. Those cheeks that used to be there are now thickened to 250. But when I load in the heats, that's where it's all going to change. Those cheeks are now visible to what they were on flat ground when running standard ammunition, but they are reduced now to 267, and it's kind of going to be the same process. It's about a 50-50 in order to cut through them, or if you are aiming perfectly in on them. You also got these two little spots on the side of the gun mantlet as well that are upwards of 261 in regards to that as well, including some other little cheeks right here that are going to be slight harder of a chance in order to cut through, upwards of 305 to 302, and this side 310 to 312 in most cases as well. If we go ahead and take a look at the side of the vehicle, you can already start to notice that because of the wedge, the turret is pretty troll. It's upwards of 366. It's where the turret just goes inward and then it extends outwards once again. It's what makes it very troll and thickens it to a point to where if you are unfortunate enough to hit the side of the turret, then you are going to have a hard time with it. Apart from the pen spots, it's 174 on the side of its turret and 100 on the side of its hull. And then for the rear, another troll spot occurs on the back of the turret. That's upwards of 282. And then for the pen spots, 162 on the back of its turret to 156. And then the full-on rear, 96 millimeters thick, to where HEs will probably not be able to cut through and become vulnerable to this vehicle. Along with that, this vehicle carries 2,697 damage per minute with a 16.3 second magazine reload time with a 3.53 second intra-clip reload time in between shells. And then for the average pen, it's actually fairly solid on a Tier 9. 268 on the standard, 350 on the premium, and 54 on the high explosive. Combined as well with the average damage being of 350 on the standard, 300 on the premium, and 420 on the high explosive. Combined as well with a 3.9 second aiming time with 0.277 dispersion. And then finally for its top speed, it goes 40 forward and 15 in reverse. And it has a very solid power to weight of 15.4 along with that. I would have to pencil the K-91 as possibly one of my favorite Tier 9 autoloading heavies in that regards, considering the fact that those DPM factors along with that magazine reload time in order to get all 3 shells in your clip is actually fairly solid. 16 seconds is just enough time to where if you are not dealing with any enemies or have already taken care of them in the process and you got some other vehicles in the back that your team is trying to take care of, then you'll have plenty of time in order to reload the full clip. The armor is actually very troll as well. I also got to mention as well, apart from the armor profile as well. So anyways, here we are in our first battle. Let's see what they got. They have a regressor, and they have a 114, and they also have a Pergetto CC55 and a Tiger 2. Alright, let's go ahead and mosey on towards the left right over here, see how we can fare well against some of these guys that are trying to maybe push on up through over here towards the boat right here. So, moseying on through. Let's see what we can spot. We got some support from our mill right over here. Let's just continue moseying on forward, maybe go in our favorite spot. We already got the 114 spotted right over there, and we are already spotted, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'm going to kind of back on down just a little bit. All right. Just want to kind of prevent myself in case of any enemies try to peck me off in the back right over there. Alright, we already got the Pergetto off in the back. We also got a AMX 1390 off in the back as well. Maybe we could spot this guy if he tries to move on forward. Okay, well, probably not a major threat of ours to deal with at the moment. We also got the Tiger 2. Let's go ahead and aim in some shells onto him. He does manage to pen me, so let's go ahead and get a second tap into him. And let's go ahead and get a third tap into him. And just like that, when you're able to dump all 3 of your shells out like that, you're able to put up some very solid damage output. So that was almost 1,000 damage brought out of his vehicle right there. 999 to be exact. Alright, so anyways, we got the Tiger 2 once again. We also got the Regressor out in the open. So let's go ahead and get a tap into the Tiger for 438. Alright, not able to get another tap into him at the moment, so we got the 114. Oh, we also got the Astrid Rex out in the open right over there. There's a nice tap into the side of his turret for 362. All right, let's go ahead and get another tap into this Tiger right there. Got to load premium to guarantee the pen and get 301 of his hit points out of him. All right, we also got the Astronaut in the back right over there. He was not able to spot me at the moment, and he did want to try to move on into a cover zone to prevent any further hit points from being taken out of his vehicle. All right, we also got the Regressor off in the back. Let's see if we can get some taps into this enemy right there. And he does look to be stocked, and he had to use HEs on that. So let's go ahead and get another tap. This Tiger 1 looks like that he wants to get cleared by me, and that is exactly the case apart from that. We also got the 114 off in the back. It looks like all the remainder of my enemies have been cleared in the back. So it looks like this 114 is going to try to tunnel me in the process, which is actually extremely unfortunate. So it looks like that we did move out just in time. So I'm just going to continue to back on up. Just let my team take care of him to the best of their ability. So we're just going to wait for him to poke on out right there. Get a solid tap for 353 into his vehicle. He is going to continue to mosey on up towards me once again. There's another tap for 595. He gets a very solid tap into me once again, but it doesn't really make much of a difference, as we are able to pull out another solid bit of damage out of his vehicle. Alright, so we're going to back on upwards once again. I don't really care if he tries to get another tap into me, because it wouldn't really make a difference whatsoever, as he is screwed in the process. So we're just going to kind of aim in on the side of his turret and get the clear in on him. Alright, very solid result right there. We also got a Regressor off in the back. We got the Forgetto. Looks like he's coming on out. That is a very solid troll bounce, that I'm not going to be mistaken as well. Alright, so it looks like this guy is going to try to tunnel me, or possibly not. So we're just going to kind of wait right here for him to poke on out. Alright, looks like that's not going to be the case, so I'm just going to continue backing on up, as I did get hit by somebody off in the back, and it looks to have been the AMX, so let's go ahead and mosey onward towards this Forgetto right over here. It looks like that he is aiming in on me at the moment. Alright, not able to get a tap into him, so I'm just going to kind of rely on my clipping potential, so let's go ahead and mosey on forward. Let's see if this guy is going to make a dire miss poke at that, so we're just going to kind of wait right here for the time being. Alright, come on, Stinker, I know you want to. Alright, not really necessarily able to pull that out, which is unfortunate. Alright, maybe he might be flanking directly behind me if I'm not mistaken. Alright, I am the only one left, which is unfortunate. So, really the only thing that I can possibly do is just back on up for the time being. Oh, there he is. Unfortunately, oh, he mounts us. Stinker. Alright, well, that was a pretty solid result, but the only problem is now that I have bigger matters on my own hands. So, oh, there is the AMX, and he misses his first shell, so I'm not really going to take the risk whatsoever for this guy. Unless, if that T-30 ends up moseying on behind me, which will probably end up being the case. I don't really know in that regard. So, there's the AMX-30. Oh, there's the T-30 right there. Oh, boy, we love to see that. But I can't really complain. We still put up a very solid result, and I think we did manage to break past 3,000 damage in this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at the results. Oh yeah, 4,273 damage, destroying 3 in the process. Kind of obvious that we did top on the team in this one. It was just unfortunate that our team kind of fell apart at the mere end. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into our second battle. Like I said, the clipping potential for all 3 shells in your clip is actually fairly solid. I mean, 350 average with a 16-second magazine reload time, that's pretty crazy, especially when you're able to dump all 3 of your shells and deal about an average of 900 to even 1,000 damage if you are lucky enough in most cases. Even for the armor as well, you did see that we did manage to hold onto our own for the most part, considering we got a lot of troll bounces as well. So that's really something else to keep in mind whenever you get this vehicle as well. So here we are in our second battle. Let's see what they got. They have an M5EO, they have a T54E1, a VK4502, and a Tiger 2 in terms of their heavies. Alright, so let's go ahead and mosey onward over towards the right over here. Hopefully we will have some bits of support coming with us. That looks like that is going to be the case. Alright, let's mosey on through right over here. I'm going to kind of peek out up the top right over here and see what enemies are going to try to maybe expose themselves out in the open. Alright, so moseying on through. This is where the turret armor can also become very beneficial in that regards as well. Alright, we also got the TVP spotted out in the open. There's a tap for 342 into his vehicle. It looks like that he is going to mosey on up as well. So we're just going to kind of stay put right over here and rely on our armor and all of that in case that any more enemies decide to want to try to poke on out in the open. Alright, we also got the 54E1 off in the back. Nice tap into him. Alright, we got the TVP once again. Let's go ahead. Oh, unfortunately, not able to get the tap into him at the moment, which is unfortunate. Or it looks like that he might poke on out once again, maybe from the backside. It looks like that he might be going wide. So, alright. You know what? I'm not really worried anymore. Let's go ahead and reload the clip and take care of the enemies that are pushing on upwards over here. Our Tiger 2, I don't know what this guy is doing, just planting himself out in the open like that, as he merely just screwed himself by wasting all of his hit points right there, which is unfortunate. Alright, so it looks like he does get cleared. I'm actually going to go ahead and back on up just a little bit. I do not want to deal with this many vehicles, especially since we don't really have that much support through it as well. We got the Turtle moseying on up. We also got the Tiger 2. Very unfortunate that we missed that shell, so let's go ahead and make up for that by firing a second shell. We also got the TVP, and he is cleared by us. Alright, that is really good. Good news is that the Emil finishes off the Turtle Mark 1. That's just really good. Alright, so we're going to kind of perfect ourselves and maybe stay put right over here. I'm actually going to move on upward just a little bit. See if we can get some more taps into some of these enemies. Alright, we got the Yo spotted right there. Let's go ahead and get a tap into his lower plate. And, alright, we got the Tiger off in the back as well. Got to kind of load premium in order to guarantee the hit right there. So there's 308 of his hit points out. And let's go ahead, and his turret was nearly exposed, and we were able to get another nice tap into him. Alright, so we also got the Yo off in the back. We're going to kind of have to rely on him to push on upwards towards us. So this is going to be a very nice farm right here. He does hit me once, which is alright. So let's go ahead and get one tap into him. I don't really care if his 3 shells try to out-trade us, because that is merely not the case, and he is screwed. There we go, 900 clipping potential. What more can you ask for in this vehicle? This thing is absolutely crazy, especially for the amounts of pen and that deadly clip that it has to offer. Alright, so let's mosey on forward. Maybe we can get some more taps into this enemy VK right over here and get a kerblunker of his hit points deducted out of his vehicle. So there's one tap into him for 401. We're going to kind of track this guy. Oh, never mind. He is turning on back. And there we go. Another very solid outcome to that. Firing 2 shells and dealing a very solid damage output. So reloading our clip once again. Let's go ahead and mosey on forward right over here. I do assume that this T-28 was last spotted over here, unless if he is AFK. So... oh, there he is. Oh, and it looks like that he is AFK at the moment. So we're going to kind of plop on our heat shells right there. Guarantee a pen right there. And that is a very another solid game. Breaking past 4,000 damage yet again. I think it was probably within the vicinity of what we did last game, which is actually kind of crazy to think about that. So 2 games in a row where we did manage to do 4,300 damage. Destroying 2 in the process, pulling out another second class along with that. And of course doing top on the team yet again. Well, what do you know? My recording software has just shit the bed once again, and I was unfortunate enough to not get any footage of the 3rd gameplay. Luckily enough, I did have the replay saved whatsoever. So, here we are in game number 3, or what was supposed to be game number 3. Oh my gosh, I clicked out of this for a second. I don't know why I did that. So as you can see, there's an E100, there is an IS-8, a Comp Panzer 70, and a Type 68 in terms of their heavies. This one, we were able to break past 3,000 damage in this one, and we were fortunate enough to hold some of these guys off that were trying to push on upwards right over here. We did spot the Comp Panzer 70. We were able to get a tap into him. We wanted to try to get a second, but unfortunately, he moves into cover at the last second, and now he is capturing base B at the moment. There are a couple more enemies that poke on upwards a little further, like the T110E3, and then there's the E100. We're able to get a nice slap into the E100. He hits me for 701. I wanted to try to carelessly get a shot into the T110E3, but unfortunately enough, I am not able to pet him at the slightest bit. Alright, so we're reloading our clip once again. We're hopefully going to try to see if we can get some more pecks into some of these enemies right over here. I tried to get a lower underside shot on the E3, but unfortunately missed. We do have the E100's lower plate exposed. There's a 326 shot into him, and this one unfortunately missed. The good news is that he missed alongside that. Alright, so at this point, 900 damage already dealt in the process. Not that we did anything special in this one. Got the Kampfpanzer 70. Very surprised that he penned that. My turret was only exposed in that regards. B100 once again. He pens another shell into me. Unfortunately, I am out at 200 hit points on my vehicle. And now all I have to do is just sit on back and rely on my gun to take some of the, or deal some bits of solid damage into my enemies for me. I can kind of rely on my turret as well, although I wasn't really trustworthy enough after that Kampfpanzer got a tap into my turret, as we can somewhat see the bit of his turret right over there, but he does make a dire mistake and overexpose the side of his turret to where 350 heat pen is just enough to butter right through it. And now the Kampfpanzer's finished off. And now I spot a Type 68 off to the side. I was thinking that he had a shell loaded, but I hesitated a little bit. Thankfully enough, I backed into cover, but oh no, there's a 183 over to the right. Oh, whatever shall I do? 183 is now going to try to tunnel me. I did end up moving on forward. I didn't realize the Type 68 backed into cover, which is good. So the 183 shoots. That allows me to get my full clip and dump it into his vehicle. So we got a second shell out into the 183, and we're just moseying on around. He stops for absolutely no reason, as he wanted to try to clear my yo to the best that he can, but it did not end up being the case. Now the E3 wants to come on out. He gets finished off by my XM, and now all that's left is the Type 68 that's over towards the left side. The YAG is going to get cleared, as he was not spotted throughout the majority of this battle. We ended up getting a very solid tap into the Type 68. And now the angular part of his upper plate was exposed. Tried to get a high explosive shot, but it didn't really want to work. And he gets cleared in the end. 3621 damage. It was a pretty solid demonstration, and it was worth kind of taking some of the hits here and there, but I can't complain. It was still a very solid result. 3621 destroying 2, and of course doing top on the team once again. And that pretty much just goes to show that the K-91 is, a matter of fact, a very deadly auto-loading heavy. This vehicle is currently out in the shop right now for $24 if I am able to find it. Oh my gosh. Oh, where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? There you are. Okay. So yes, this vehicle is out in the shop right now for $24. I would recommend that you should be able to pick this vehicle up, as it's just an easy vehicle just to do well in. That 3-shell auto-loading clip plus 16 seconds of magazine reload time is just enough to get you through a very solid output. So anyways, hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on those bell notifications while at it so you don't miss out on any new videos, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.